G'day Townsville. In this video, I'm going to show you how to select and trim beef ribs. Hey everybody, my name's Ben. I'm from Smoking Hot Confessions. We're Australia's #1 barbecue podcast and the world. And we've also got the #1 barbecue website as well. So if you're looking for any recipes, any tips, any how-tos, you want to get some more barbecue action in your life, check that out, smokinghotconfessions.com. Now, as I said at the top of this video, today we're going to be showing you how to select and trim up some beef ribs. So let's get stuck into it. Now, beef ribs always come in a pack of 2 with 3 bones in each. So this looks like a whole lot. This is actually 2 separate sections. So you're going to see that in a minute when I cut it open. Now, when you're in the butcher shop, what you're looking for is you want probably a good 5 to 7 centimeters of meat at one end. They will taper off towards the other, but you want to make sure at least one end is good and thick. And you'll find that there's 3 bones there in each one. So from the side of the package here, you should be able to see the marbling there. That's what you're looking for. That's the white in amongst the meat there. That's the intramuscular fat. That's where the flavor is. So that's one of the pieces that was in that pack. So as I said there, you can see there's a good 5 to 7 centimeters of meat up here, and you can see all this beautiful white in amongst the meat there. Those are the intramuscular fat, the striations. That's what you're looking for. That's marbling, and that's where your flavor's at. Now, if we have a look at these ones, a lot of the trimming's already been done on this, so there's not going to be a whole lot for us to do. But what I like to do is just try and take off as much of the hard fat off the top as I can. If there's any of the silver skin left underneath, we're going to lop that off as well. And then we're going to do something here with the back, with this film here on the back. Because as the meat cooks, that will contract, and what will happen is your rack is going to curl up like this, which we don't want to do. So I'm going to show you something to help with that a bit later on. All right, now when it comes to trimming up these beef ribs, I like to use a nice quality boning knife. Good flexible blade, nice and sharp. And if you need to hone it a little bit on a good quality steel, just give it a couple of licks and you'll be back in good shape again. Now, just having a look at this rack of beef ribs, there's quite a lot. Well, actually not quite a lot. The butcher's already taken quite a lot of this off for me. So there's some hard fat here. The softer the fat, the easier it's going to render during the cook. So you want to take off as much of the hard fat as you can, and you can just see the edges of the silver skin there. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this fat off, we're going to expose all this beautiful marbling, and then we're going to gently slide that silver skin off. We're also going to even up any of these sort of hanging bits on the end that are a bit thin. We're going to just lop them off because they'll cook a bit too unevenly. So we want to get rid of them as well, just to make sure we get a nice even cook going through there. So making sure you always cut away from yourself. We're just going to slice this harder fat off, and you can see all that beautiful marbling being exposed under here now. That's what we want to get to, because when it comes time to season these, we want that seasoning to be able to touch the meat. So I'm just quickly taking off as much of this hard fat. Ooh, that might be a big seam of hard fat. That might have to stay. Yeah, I think that's running a bit deep, that one. So we'll turn them around, running the knife just under the top, getting under that silver skin as much as we possibly can. And getting off, yeah, you can see this big, large area of hard fat under there. We want to get rid of that as much as we possibly can. Whew, that was a big old chunk, look at that. All right. Okay, yeah, there is a big fat seam running under there on this particular rack. That's all right. So we'll just trim this as much as we possibly can, but that big seam between these 2 layers of meat, that's going to have to stay there. We're not going to be able to get too much out of that. And let's just work on this edge up here. Let's tidy up here. Get in under there. Get rid of that. Oh, look how good that marbling looks. That is so nice. So nice. Whoop. Dog almost got that piece. Now you can see this bit of silver skin here didn't come away with the fat, so now I've got to just very carefully get this sharp knife in just under the surface, because you don't want to scallop too much out of the inside of it. We want to keep as much of that meat as we possibly can, but that silver skin, that's got to go. It's just a bit of a nick. Tidy up this a bit. You can see some of these sort of little edge pieces over here. We're going to square them up, tidy them up, get them taken care of. Have another crack at this piece. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Let's get in under there. There we go. All right. Just take this little bit of fat off that corner. Well, that might be the start of the seam. Yeah, that looks like the start of the seam. That can stay there. Yeah, that's a big old river in there. We're not going to get into that, unfortunately. So that is just about as much as we're going to be able to do with this particular rack. Okay, when you're done, you will have a big bowl of offcuts left over. Now, it might be tempting to throw that to the dog, but too much fat can actually be quite harmful for them. So what you're going to want to do is either just chuck it in the bin, or you can keep some of the fat and use it in a sausage grind or a mince grind, or you could even go so far as to chop all the little bits of meat out of there and then use that and boil that down into like a beef stock. So there's lots of different ways that you can use all this offcuts as well. Now, when it comes to seasoning, a true Texan would just put salt and pepper on this, but we're going to go with something that's a little bit different today. This is from a group called Slow Burner Barbecue. It's all Australian, and I just love their stuff. So we're going to pop some of this on here today. Now, what I like to do is I like to give it a nice high sort of shaking pour, nice even gently application of it, and it's going to give a nice coverage all over it there. Now, don't be shy with it, because we are going to be looking to make what's called a bark. So you want a nice even coverage over all of it. So a nice high gentle sprinkling pour. You're going to see that rub go on there. I always recommend just using one glove at this stage, because what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to keep one hand clean for holding the bottle and playing with that, and the other hand just to give it a gentle press on there. Now, a lot of people, they will put a binder on here. They might use an oil, they might use mustard, something like that. Personally, I find that to be a bit of an extra unnecessary step. I prefer to just let the natural moisture of the meat do that. The humidity here on the Gold Coast is clumping my rub a bit. Wonder what it's like for you guys up in Townsville. There we go, now we're cooking. Look at that, beautiful. So just gonna press that on. Now don't worry about the over, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna tip that back on once these go on the barbecue. You just pick up the board, tip it back on top of the meat, and it's all good. Now, one thing about beef ribs is that you do wanna make sure you get all the edges. So we're gonna make sure we tip it on its side, get these edges here, press that a little bit, whoops. Tip it on its end to make sure we get this end. Tip it on the other end, make sure we get this end. And And we almost forgot to talk about the back of the beef ribs. Now, I did say at the top of this, I was going to show you a trick for this. Now, you can see it does have this sort of, it's almost like a skin. It's like a film layer across the back. So the first thing you want to do to tidy up the back is you just want to lop these sort of fat globs off. So we definitely don't want them. They're going to go nice and quickly. Oh yeah, wow, that can definitely go. Now, if you were doing this for competition, you would actually slide the boning knife in under there, like that, and lift and lift and lift, pry it off, get a piece of paper towel, flick it under there, pull it off. When I'm cooking at home in the backyard, I don't really worry about that. What I do is I grab my sharp knife and I crisscross, I score it like this. And what that does is as it cooks and it contracts, it stops that contraction from curling up your beef ribs. So I just like to do that like that. And because we're going to be cooking it low and slow, it's going to be delicious anyway. So we're just going to grab some rub, throw that on the back as well. And also because you've scored it, it's not going to get that paper-like texture that membrane can get oftentimes. So that's one of the beauties of low and slow, and that little trick of scoring it can make a big difference there. Don't need to go too overboard there because it is a membrane, so you're not going to get a whole lot of rub sticking on there, but just press it in. There it is, nice and lovely. Turn it back over onto the other side. Now you can see now that that moisture is naturally sticking that rub to that beautiful piece of meat. So we'll just give it one more quick coverage. We can see at the front here, we're missing a bit on the front. Some of it's fallen off as I was playing with it. Just going to even that up, nice and beautiful. And there you have it. That is a beautifully seasoned rack of beef ribs. So there you have it, Townsville. That was how to select, how to trim, and how to season a pack of beef ribs. These are now ready to be low and slow barbecued in a Weber, a Pro Q, a Jagged, an Ozpig, whatever you've got. Low and slow, 275 degrees Fahrenheit for about 8 to 10 hours, and they are going to be absolute mint. Very delicious, and these are going to be my dinner tonight. Now, if you'd like to know more about how exactly to cook these, I've got different articles and videos on my website, smokinghotconfessions.com, showing you exactly where to go from here to get that delicious smoked beef rib finish. But that's all we have time for today, so enjoy the rest of the weekend up in Townsville. I'm super jealous I can't be there. I was there in 2019, had a ball. I'm hoping to get back there in person next year in 2022. So until next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.